Hi everyone, good day. I'm Jaya Mario Campalfanta. I'm a BSCA student from University of Cebu, Lapu-Lapu and Mandawi campus. So for today's video, we're going to discuss about the Dutiable freight and the Dutiable insurances. So as a BSCA student, we already know what are the Dutiable freight and the insurances. So now I'm going to share to you my knowledge and my understanding how to get or how to compute the Dutiable insurances and the Dutiable freight. So, as we go through the Dutiable freight, we all know that freight are the amount paid to a carrier company for transportation of the goods from the point of origin to the agreed location. Well, the insurances tackles about the insurances that covers the losses and the damages of cargo when it is in the transit between the point of origin to its final destination. So under Dutiable freight, we have 11 rules to follow. So first, we have rule number 1. Rule number 1 says the Dutiable freight shall be the freight charges indicated in the bill of lading or airway bill. So for example, a shipment of 30 cartons of school supplies arrived at Port of Cebu with a FOB value of 3,200 per cartons. The bill of lading indicated the freight charges of 2,000. So rule number 1 said na automatically the freight charges that we indicate sa bill of lading would be our Dutiable freight. So based on the example number 1, we have here the bill of lading amounting 2,000. So automatically, our Dutiable freight in this situation will be 2,000. So rule number 2. If there are freight charges indicated both in the bill of lading or commercial invoice, the Dutiable freight shall be whichever is higher between the freight charges in the bill lading or invoice. So rule number 1 says automatically the stated covered invoice nga naa sa situation would be on Dutiable freight. While on rule number 2, it is stated na in a word problem na siya yung ka given nga freight charges, which is the bill of lading or the commercial invoice. So katuwang i-follow ani nga Dutiable freight would be the whichever is higher na rule. So here in our example, we have a shipment of 30 cartons of school supplies arrived at Port of Cebu with a FOB value of 3,200 per cartons. The bill of lading indicated that freight charges of 2,000, while the commercial invoice indicated freight charges of 1,500. So in this situation, natin given na freight charges under the bill of lading, which is 2,000, and the commercial invoice na 1,500. So under rule number 2, need na to i-compare ang amount under bill of lading freight charge o versus sa commercial invoice ng freight charge. So based sa problem, mas higher ang freight charge under sa bill of lading. So automatically, ato ang Dutiable freight under this example would be 2,000. So the Dutiable freight under rule number 2 in this example would be 2,000. So let's proceed to rule number 3. If the terms are CFR, CPT, CIP, or CIF, always deduct the freight charges indicated in commercial invoice to compute the FOB FCA value. However, in computing the Dutiable value, use the whichever higher is rule. So let's go back to rule number 1. Rule number 1 says na automatically, if unsa ang freight charge na naka-stated to automatically mo itong i-follow. Well, in rule number 2, need na to i-compare ang freight charge under sa bill of lading versus the commercial invoice. So here in rule number 3, it is stated nga kato ang gamiton would be the commercial invoice. So disregard na to sa rule number 1 ang rule number 2. Rule number 3 says nga kato ang gamiton always deduct the freight charges indicated in commercial invoice is either higher ba siya or unsa. So for example number 3, A shipment of silk arrived at Port of Cebu with total FOB value of 45,000 US dollar. The freight charges indicated in the commercial invoice is 9,000, while the bill of lading shows the freight charge of 5,000. So rule number 3 stated, we will always be using or deduct the freight charges indicated in the commercial invoice. So it is stated here in this example that the commercial invoice in this problem is 9,000. So automatically, the dutiable freight in this equation would be 9,000. So rule number 4, if no freight charges indicated in the bill of lading or commercial invoice, then the declared freight charges of the entry or the SAD may be considered as dutiable freight. So let's go back to rule number 1. Rule number 1 stated na ang ato ang gamiton nga freight charges would be ang naara nga nakastate sa bill of lading. Rule number 2 says that we need to compare the commercial invoice from the bill of lading. Whichever is higher mo, ato ang gamiton. Rule number 3 says ato ang gamiton kay ang commercial invoice. Disregard na nimo if higher ba siya or dili. So rule number 4, naanata dali na sulatan nga entry og ang SAD. So SAD means the single administrative document. It is a document na gamiton nimo ang anang makuha nimo after you launch a goods. So in this situation, rule number 4 says na ang ato ang gamiton nga freight charges since if wala tayo makita ang bill of lading or any commercial invoice ang airway bill, automatically na charge na the freight charge ang declared sa SAD or sa entry ang ato ang gamiton nga dutiable freight. So example number 4, a shipment of solar lamppost arrived at the iya with total FOB value of 98,000 US dollar. The freight charges declared in the entry is 25,000 US dollar. So as you can see, wala dyan nalabot yung mga freight charges indicated from the bill of lading, the commercial invoice, or the airway bill, which is mo dyan na siya ang rule number 4. There will be no freight charges indicated in any situation, kaya ang naara nga given would be the entry or the SAD, which are we going to use as our dutiable freight. So under this situation, it is stated that the entry, the freight charges declared in the entry is 25,000 US dollar. So automatically, rule number 4, the dutiable freight would be 25,000 US dollar. So under rule number 5, if no freight charges declared on the entry, then freight charges shall be based on the gross conference rate. The GCR for C shall be the dutiable freight. So as we go through, mas naka-complicate na siya. So wala na gyapon siya yung mga bill of lading na naka-indicate. It's more on the focusing na siya on the gross conference rate. So dala po tayo mag-unamit kayo yung word which is the gross conference rate. So example number 4, a shipment of 20 crates of solar lamppost arrived at MHCP with FOB value of 10,000 per crate. The shipment had a total gross weight of 45,000 kilograms subject to the GCR rate of 95 cents US dollar per kilogram. So our formula for rule number 5 would be the total gross weight in kilograms times its GCR rate. So ato ang total gross weight in kilograms in example number 5 is 45,000 kilograms, and then we're going to multiply it with the GCR rate, which is the 95 cents. So muna siya, GCR rate 45,000 kilograms times 0.95, ang ato makuha kay 42,750. That would be our dutiable freight. So let's proceed to rule number 6. If there are freight charges declared both on the entry and gross conference rate for C, the dutiable freight shall be whichever is higher between the freight charges on the entry and 70% for GCR. So kining rule number 6 is more on the combination na on the previous rules. So given na diri ang we're going to compare the freight entry or the freight sand versus the total gross weight in kilograms, and then we're going to multiply it with the GCR rate, the given, and the constant is 70% of GCR. So rule number 6 example, a shipment of 5 crates of sheet pile arrived in the EA with FOB value of $10,000 per crate with gross weight of 140,000 kilograms. Subject to GCR rate of 75 cents per kilogram. The freight charge on the sand is 45,000. So first, we're going to get the total gross weight in kilograms. So given naman na siya the 140,000 kilograms, and then we're going to multiply it with our GCR rate, which is the 0.75 US dollar, and then multiply with the 70%, that's 0.70. So ato ang GCR rate would be the 73,500. But dili pa siya dira makuman kay it is stated we need to compare it with our freight entry or our freight sand. So on rule number 6 example, the freight charges on the sand is 45,000. So these 45,000, we need to compare this on our total gross weight times GCR rate times 0.70, which is 73,500. And then whichever is higher man, so we need to compare 73,500 versus 45,000. So the dutiable freight in this situation would be 73,500. So rule number 6. If no freight charges declared on the entry, the freight charges shall be based on the IATA rate for air showing the dutiable freight. So rule number 7, IATA rate, its formula would be total chargeable weight in kilograms times the IATA rate. So, basin mo katana mo, kaya naaman to total weight in kilograms, and naaman na total chargeable weight in kilograms. So, ang chargeable weight, it is a higher weight in kilograms between the actual weight and volume weight. We're going to discuss the actual weight and volume weight on the next slide. It is primarily used as a component in the computation of IATA air freight and the storage charges at airports. So in order to compute the chargeable weight, compute first the actual weight and the volume weight. So here's how to compute the actual weight. The formula for getting the actual weight would be the number of boxes or the cartons or the crates. Basta any unit, any form of packing, you will be going to multiply it with the kilogram per unit. So for example, a shipment of 5 boxes of spare parts arrived at Port of Cebu with an FOB value of 50,000 US dollar. Each carton weighs 20 kilograms and dimension of 20 inches by 4 inches by 2 inches. The air freight charges was based on the IATA rate of 0.95 per kilogram. So our formula sa actual weight would be the number of boxes, number of unpacking. So that would be 5 boxes. And then we're going to multiply it with the total kilogram per unit. So that 20 total kilograms na siya. So that would be 100 kilograms. And then we're going to compare this one to the volume weight. So in order for us to get the volume weight, daghan siyang mga ways, daghan siyang mga kuan. So in inches times inches times inches, we're going to divide it with 366 times the number of boxes or unpacking niya. Well, in centimeter, we're going to divide it with 6,000, same as sa inches. We're going to multiply it with the number of boxes, cartons, or crates. And then on the meters, we're going to divide it with 0.006. And same with the last two, we're going to multiply it with the number of boxes, cartons, and crates. So same with the previous example, A shipment of 5 boxes of spare parts arrived at Port of Cebu with FOB value of 50,000 US dollar. Each carton weighs 20 kilograms and dimension of 20 inches by 4 inches by 20 inches. Oh, I already changed it pala. So this would be 12 inches by 14 inches by 12 inches. The air freight charges was based on the IATA rate of 0.95 US dollar per kilogram. So our volume weight would be 12 inches. Ako na siya 12, na siya 12, 14, 12. 12 inches by 14 inches by 12 inches. Gano 366? 366 siya. Kaya ang inches man siya, constant ni siya 366. Dili na siya pwede mausam. If centimeter ni siya, mugamit ng 6,000. If meter ni siya, mugamit ng 0.006. So since inches man siya, we're going to use 366. So 12 times 14 times 12, divide mo ang 366, multiply mo ang 5 boxes mo ang sa packet. So you would get 27.54 kilograms. One of the rule under the volume weight, if na ay decimal ka naka-engage, if ang decimal niya kay between 0.01 to 0.049, you're going to round it to 0.50. Pero, if ang imuhang decimal kay naa siya between 0.51 to 0.99, you're going to add 1. So, in this situation, under 0.54 man siya, so naa siya na rin na belong sa last. Na siya na rin. So, you're going to add 1. That's why nahimo siya 28 kilograms. And then, we're going to compare it with our actual weight, which is the 100 kilograms. Whichever is higher, the 100 kilograms. So, we're going to multiply this one with our IATA rate, which is the 0.95 US dollar. So 100 kilograms times 0.95 US dollar, that would be 95 US dollar. So rule number 8. If there are freight charges declared both on the entry and IATA rate for air, the dutiable freight shall be whichever is higher between the freight charges on the entry and 70% of IATA rate. So here, we need to we need to compare lang gihapon. Ang kalahian ng aniliya sa previous year rules is that naa na siya 0.70 nga sumpay. So, it's freight entry or freight sand versus the total chargeable weight in kilograms times the IATA rate times 0.70. So, a shipment of 5 boxes of spare parts arrived at Port of Cebu with an FOB value of 50,000 US dollar. Each carton weighs 50 kilograms and the dimension of 20 cm by 40 cm by 20 cm. The entry indicated the freight charges of 3,000 US dollar while the IATA rate of 3 US dollar per kilogram. So first, we're going to find the entry or the sand. So ang given diri kay ang entry. So entry ga 3,000 US dollar. 3,000 US dollar. We're going to compare that one to the total chargeable weight in kilograms times our IATA rate times 0.70. So ang dimension niya kay 20 cm times 40 times 20, that's it. Oh, sorry. 20 cm times 40 times 20 cm. So, ano 6,000? Based on our previous, if you're going to use centimeter, automatically constant, dili mausap, you're going to use 6,000. So, that's it, 6,000. And then, you're going to multiply it with the unit or the packing niya. 50. Oh, you're going to change at 50 boxes na siya, people. Sorry. So, that would be 2.67. This one, 20 cm times 40 cm times 20 cm divided by 6,000. That would be 2.66 times 50 boxes. That would be 1333.5 times 3 times 3 sa iyahang IATA rate. The IATA rate niya nga $3, you would get $400.50. And then you're going to multiply it again with the 0.70. That's 0.70. That would be $280.35. So our dutiable freight for example number 8 would be 3,000. Kano man? 3,000 would be the higher than this one. Compare magapon mo siya whichever is higher. For rule number 9. For bulk and general cargo shipments made by the National Food Authority or the NFA, the dutiable freight shall be whichever is higher between the freight charges indicated in the bill of lading or invoice and 10% of the CFR value of the commodity. So under rule number 9, it's more on focusing to our National Food Authority. So ato i-compare ani kay ang 10% sa CFR niya versus sa bill of lading or invoice niya. Whichever is higher na nilang nung automatically that would be our dutiable freight. So example number 9, a shipment of Thai jasmine rice arrived at Port of Davao. The shipment is consigned to NFA with total CFR value of $20,000. The commercial invoice shows the freight charges of $3,000. So if makasugat din yung situation na engage na siya on the National Food Authority, always remember our rule number 9. So first, we're going to get our invoice freight. Our invoice freight would be $3,000 versus a 10% sa CFR. So ato ang CFR here is $20,000. You need to divide that with 0. You need to multiply with 10%, mao na siyang 0.10. So you would get 2,000. You need to compare that one, 3,000 versus 2,000, 3,000 ang higher. So on rule number 9, the dutiable freight is 3,000. Always remember, whichever is higher rule number 9. Our last rule number 10 under the dutiable freight. So for refrigerated shipments, the dutiable freight shall be whichever is higher between the freight charges indicated in the bill lading. Where naa siya note diri if no certification from the shipping lines and the reefer rates. So these are the reefer rates internationally. So port of origin, mo diri 1/20 nga reefer ban and 1/40 nga reefer ban. Mo ni siya 20-footer, 40-footer. So if mo port of origin from Guangzhou, I don't know how to pronounce it, but I think it's Guangzhou, China. If imuhang van, imong port of origin from Guangzhou, China, so and imuhang gigamit ka container van kay 20-footer, then imuhang refer rate would be 1,300. If imuhang port of origin from Guangzhou, China, but then you use a 40-footer van, then you would have a refer rate of 1,700. If your port of origin is from Xiamen, China, and then you're using a 20-footer van, then your refer rate would be 1,500. If you're from Xiamen, China, the port of origin, and then you're using a 40-footer van, then your refer rate is 1,800. If your port of origin is from Shanghai, China, and then you're using a 20-footer van, then your refer rate would be 1,800. If you're from Shanghai, China, and you're using a 40-footer van, then your refer rate would be 3,200. If your port of origin is from Dalian, China, and then you're using a 20-footer van, then your refer rate would be 1,350. If you're from Dalian, China, and you're using a 40-footer van, then your refer rate would be 1,680. If you're from Hong Kong, and you're using a 20-footer van, then your refer rate would be 800. If you're using a 40-footer van and your port of origin is from Hong Kong, then your refer rate would be 1,600. If you're from Singapore, the port of origin, and you're using a 20-footer van, then your refer rate would be 970. If you're from Singapore and you're using a 40-footer van, then your refer rate would be 1,990. If your port of origin is from Los Angeles, USA, and you're using a 20-footer van, then your refer rate would be 3,050. If you're from Los Angeles again, and you're using a 40-footer van, then your refer rate would be 6,100. So in order to get the dutiable freight under this rule, you need to identify the freight of the bill of lading or the commercial invoice, and you need to compare it to the refer rate. Note ha, if no certificate, kailangan na anay certificate ka mag-run, whichever is higher rule na gihapon. So the example would be a shipment of 2x20 reefer van of frozen foods from Guangzhou, China arrived at the area with a total FOB value of $20,000 US. The commercial invoice indicated the freight charges of $3,000 without certification from the shipping lines. So our bill of lading here refer rate na to, ganong to ni siya. It's because 2x20 man siya. So, duha ka container van, duha ka 20-footer ka container van. That's why 1.3. Ganong 1.3 siya, it's because it's from Guangzhou, China. And then you're using a 20-footer van, wala siya 1.3. But then, duha man ka buo. So, mo to, i-times to na to. That's why we get here a 2,600. So, ato ang BL, let's a commercial invoice, di na siya BL, let's commercial invoice na 3,000. So, we need to compare whichever is higher rule, so we have 3,000 here. So, our dutiable freight in this example would be 3,000. So, that would be all for the dutiable freight. Next, we're going to proceed on our dutiable insurance. Cut to it. So I hope you've learned something from our discussion of the dutiable freight. So those are the 11 rules under dutiable freight as we compute or determine the appropriate dutiable freight. So now we're going to proceed on how to compute the dutiable insurance. So under in this dutiable insurance, we have 4 rules. So first, we're going to tackle about the rule number 1. If the terms or sale are CIF and CIP, the dutiable insurance shall be amount of the actual insurance premium declared in the invoice. So a shipment of 30 cartons of school supplies arrived at Port of Cebu with a FOB value of 3,200 per cartons. The bill of lading indicated the freight charges of 2,000, while the commercial invoice shows marine insurance of 3,000. So rule number 1, same raya po ni sila sa rule number 1 sa dutiable freight nga. If unsa na naka-declared na marine insurance premium, automatically mauna to siya. Same with the dutiable freight sa same with the rule 1 sa dutiable freight. If unsa ang naka-declared na freight charges sa bill of lading, automatically mauna to siya ang dutiable freight. So in the example number 1 of rule 1, it is stated here na ang commercial invoice nag-show siya sa marine insurance na 3,000. Rule number 1 stated, if unsa ang amount sa actual insurance premium na declared sa invoice, mauna to siya ang dutiable insurance. So our dutiable insurance in rule number 1 would be 3,000 US dollar. So rule number 2, if the terms are CIF, CIP, and no insurance indicated in the invoice, the dutiable insurance shall be, that's 2%, sorry for the typo, 2% if general cargo, and 4% if dangerous or high risk. So, Rule 1, it is stated if also naka-indicate na insurance premium na naka-declare sa invoice, automatically, that would be our dutiable insurance. So, on rule number 2, it says na if the terms would be the CIF and CIP, so when we say CIF and CIP, na siya kanang yumayran ka insurances. That's why yun ano na siya. Muna ni-engage siya CIF and CIP. So, if kanang walay naka-insurance nga naka-indicate sa invoice, so ito ang gamito ng 2% and 4% rule. So, 2%, you're going to multiply 2% your FOB, FCA, if ang imuhang giship na cargo kay general cargo. But then, if ang imuhang cargo are considered to be a dangerous or high risk cargo, then we're going to multiply your FOB or FCA with the 4% or the 0.04. So, in this area, you would see the categories that are subject for 4% insurances. So, these categories would be classified as the dangerous or high risk cargo. So, we have here dangerous goods, inflammable goods, perishable goods, fragile goods, motor vehicles, excise tax articles with some exemptions, mechanical appliances or equipment, electrical appliances or equipment. So, as you can see, these are the categories na kanang classify nila siya as the dangerous or high risk cargo. So, if ever makasukat ang ingon ani, like walay nakamutang sa invoice niya nga insurances, way naka-declared, nga ingon ani ra ang nanggawas, so you're going to use the 2% and 4% rule. So sayon naman ni siya kanang makakuha na kas maka-idea ani kay dangerous, inflammable, perishable, or fragile. Ang ini mga equipment nga wonder name connection into electricity, automatically that would be considered as a dangerous or high-risk cargo. Pero if ang imuhang cargo kay wala na abot ana category, then that would be classified as general cargo and you need to multiply that one with 2% sa imong FOB or FCA. So on rule number 2 example, we have here a shipment of 30 cartons of school supplies arrived at Port of Cebu with FOB value of $3,200 per cartons. The bill of lading indicated the freight charges of $2,000 while the commercial invoice shows marine insurance of $3,000. So you just have to disregard this the last sentence, people. So, dutiable insurance niya 30 times 3,000. So we need to get first the FOB value. So, FOB value niya kay $3,200 per cartons. And then we have here 30 cartons man. So, di mo na siya fixed na, di pa rin siya total FOB. So, we need to multiply the 3,200 per cartons with the total unit na 30 cartons. So, 30 cartons times 3,200, that would be $96,000. And since school supplies man siya, that would be considered as a general cargo. Okay, wala man siya diri, wala man siya na specify as, wala man siya diri na sila category. Dili siya dangerous goods, dili siya inflammable, dili siya perishable, dili siya fragile, dili siya motor vehicle, dili siya excise tax, dili siya mechanical appliances, or even electrical, then mogota for 2%. So this $36,000, we're going to multiply this one with 0.02 to get our dutiable insurance ng $1,920. So next we have here rule number 3. If the importer provides local or domestic insurance, the dutiable insurance shall be the amount of local or domestic insurance provided the importer presents certification and official receipt of such insurance. So, rule number 3, na ato yung mga factors nga need pangitaon, like our local domestic insurance, nga need siya in peso, and then kay since local man siya, peso din siya. Rate of exchange nga na US dollar form. So, a shipment of fresh potatoes arrived at Port of Manila with total FOB value of $10,000 US. The importer provides local insurance worth $50,000 with certification and official receipt presented to BOC. The rate of exchange is 51 peso. So it is stated here in rule number 3, kailangan na ang local or domestic insurance. So since local or domestic insurance man, peso sign siya, we need to be careful sa mga inanin dahil nga sign. Peso sign siya or US dollar, medyo siya timanaan lang. And then, kailangan sa nga ang importer ma-present siya is from certification o official receipt for such insurances. Kailangan siya ma-present niya o naa siya. Kaya may mga instances na naa siya pero wala niya na-present sa BOC, so that would be not counted. So in this situation, ang importer ni provide siya local insurance na 50,000 o ni provide po siya certification o na-present niya sa BOC. So that would be 50,000 peso. You need to divide this one with 51 peso. Kanang 51 peso man. Need man na to makuha ang US dollar. And then during ang rate of exchange ano kay 51 man. So mo na ito divide. So maybe you're asking, kinsay muhatag na to ang rate of exchange? So ang muhatag na to ang rate of exchange kay ang Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. Sila yung muhatag ang rate of exchange. And then ma-change na siya, I think every week. So that's it. So you're going to divide it 50,000 divided by 51, then you would get an insurance na $980.39 US dollar. So for the last rule, we have here, if the importer provides local or domestic insurance but no certification or official receipt, the dutiable insurance shall be whichever is higher between the amount of local or domestic insurance and 2% or 4% of the FOB or the FCA value. So here, combination gihapon siya with the previous rules 2 and 3. So you're just going to compare again the local domestic insurance divided by the rate of exchange versus the FOB, the 2% for the general cargo and 4% for the dangerous cargoes. So a shipment of office supplies arrived at Port of Manila with total FOB value of $10,000 US. The importer provides a local insurance worth 50,000 but no certification and official receipt presented to BOC. The rate of exchange is 51 peso. Okay, so we have here a local insurance worth 50,000 peso and rate of exchange nga 51 peso. So you're going to divide 50,000 from 51. That would be $980.39 US dollar. You need to compare that one with the FOB, ang 2% or 4%. So why 2%? 2% it's because it's a office supplies. Wala siya na belong sa category sa mga high risk or dangerous cargo such as the dangerous goods, inflammable goods, perishable goods, fragile goods, motor vehicles, excise tax articles, mechanical appliances or equipment, or even the electrical appliances or equipment. So if your goods wala siya na belong ang category, then automatically that would be considered as the general cargo. So that would be 2%. So FOB of $10,000 10,000, 2% of 10,000, that would be 200. 200, if you're going to compare it with the 980.39. So our dutiable insurance in this word problem would be 980.39 US dollar. So earlier we discussed about the dutiable insurance. So I'm just going to give you some explanation about the insurances, how it works, and why we need to get an insurance as we go through on shipping our cargoes internationally. So marine insurance works by transferring the responsibility for a product damages from the exporter to the insurer. So the policyholder typically pays a premium to the insurance company, and in return, the insurance company agrees to pay a specified amount on the event of a covered loss. So insurance protects our investment and covers our goods for loss, damages, or delays. So without insurance, all our cargoes handled, stored, and carried, hindi siya maprotected. O syempre, ang mga tao ang nakahibaw, makala siya ka specific cargo, wala siya insurance. They will not be going to handle it in a good way. So, it helps mitigate the financial risk involved in the shipping goods, allowing the insurer to cover the investment to a certain extent. So, either mag-import internationally, the import insurance covers loss and or damages of cargo, while it is in the transit between the point of origin and final destination. So, ang insurance dyan, mo apply na siya between sa transaction nga nagdagan ang imuhang cargo from sa port of origin to its final destination. Dili siya santo jud ug asa sa naagrihan sa inyong company between the two parties. So a legal requirement for a international trade pod ang insurance. So in some cases, insurance may be required by law. Compliance with these regulations can help ensure the smooth and legal shipment of cargoes.